Welcome, Gunrunner.
Hello everybody, Kieran aka the Laird here, and I'm back with a new episode of Laird's Lowdown. And in actual fact, this is an episode I wasn't expecting to make because I'd actually recorded one for this week already, about something else I'd seen in the news that caught my eye that was very, very, very interesting, which I'd got the heads up from my good friend Ballistic Coffee Boy. Check out his channel if you love Atari content. But he had told me about something that was very cool indeed. And I thought, wow, I need to make a video about that. So I did. And it was all ready for release. And then the news dropped on the end of last week that Atari are releasing another console for Christmas, which totally caught everybody off guard because it's very, very late to announce a console for Christmas, because most people have already bought their Christmas presents and stuff like that, or pre-ordered them or whatever. And releasing something at the end of October even for Christmas is quite brave. It has to be said. I was quite surprised by it, but I'm sure most of you have seen the news because obviously I'm a bit late covering this because it dropped at the end of last week. But you know, this is the quickest really I could get the video done and get it out. I like to keep to my schedule, and obviously it is the Intellivision Sprint, and a lot of people were expecting Atari to do an Intellivision console, being that obviously they now own the Intellivision brand as covered before, and all the games. And a lot of people were obviously expecting an Intellivision version of sort of Atari 50 as well, which I still think will come. And I did ask Digital Eclipse actually on Facebook if they were working on such a thing, and they were very cagey about it. They said something like, we'll see, or something like that. And I thought, yeah, that seems like they are to me. But the console's dropped. In many ways it's what people were expecting. However, I think a lot of people were expecting them to do an Atari Plus style console with a cartridge slot, and the Intellivision Sprint does not have a cartridge slot, but you'll still be able to add your own games, because this one has a USB socket. So they have said that you will be able to sideload games using a USB stick, like you can with the Retro Games minis. And there's also been hinted that they're going to have a USB add-on that's basically a cartridge reader that you can plug into the USB socket. That's what I'm hearing. So then you will be able to use your real cartridges as well. So that would be great if they did do that. I think that's a really ideal solution. But obviously the console itself, I'll be putting images up next to me the whole time and the trailer and stuff while I'm speaking. I'll put the trailer on the end of the video probably as well in case you haven't seen it. But yeah, it looks exactly like an original Model 1 Intellivision master component, as it was called, with the long design with the wood grain strip down the front, the silver on the top. It comes with disc controllers, exact replications of those those infamous, I should probably say, disc controllers. I hate the disc controllers so much. I love the Intellivision, it's got some great games, but I hate those controllers. They are so horrible. Whoever thought of those was just, they should have gone to Guantanamo Bay or something. Yeah, God, they're just awful things. Cramp your hands up, and with the keypad as well, and they're not intuitive, they're not easy to use. But they've recreated them anyway with wireless. They are this time, so they don't have to be fixed into the console all the time. USB powered wireless controllers, you can plug them in to charge them on the unit like the old ones plugged in on the sides. So exactly the same, which is a really cool way of doing it, I think. Really cool design. They haven't said if you'll be able to use other controllers with it. I'm hoping you can. It would be great if you can use modern controllers or something like an Xbox controller with an analog thumbstick instead of the disc. That would be ideal. So I'm hoping there will be a solution for modern controllers, because you can get Xbox controllers with the keypad that plugs in the bottom. So I'm wondering if something like that could be an option. I was saying this to Ballistic Coffee Boy last night, actually, because we had a long chat about it. Because I've done a the Atari show on his channel. I'm going on that again. I did it before and I'm doing it again, mostly chatting about unreleased Atari consoles. So that's coming up. Look out for it on his channel. But we also spoke a lot about the Intellivision and what we thought of it. Intellivision Sprint. But yes, in terms of games, which I'm sure you want to know, like the flashback, more like the Atari flashback devices, but I'm not sure why they didn't call it Intellivision Flashback. Maybe because it's already been in Intellivision Flashback. At Games did. Not sure. Intellivision Sprint. As soon as I heard that name, it made me think of Sprint, the Atari game. But I can see what they're doing with the name. They're obviously talking about the running man, sprinting, I'm guessing. So running, sprint, yeah, that kind of works. But yeah, it has 45 games, which might sound like a really bizarre number. You might go, 40, what, 45, what doesn't 50? And it's because it's been announced on the Intellivision's 45th anniversary. So 45th anniversary, 45 games. Now it makes sense, doesn't it? 45 originally sounded like an arbitrary number though, but it does have some logic behind it and clever. Yeah. So the 45 games. Now, very, I can't think of the right word now. They're the games you'd expect it to have, basically. It's probably better wording there. I couldn't think of the right way to say it. So all the Intellivision classics that Mattel made themselves. So none of the licensed stuff, obviously. I saw a lot of people saying, oh, why doesn't it have the data east games like Lock and Chase and Bump and Jump and Burger Time? Well, obviously, because Atari don't have the license for them. They'd have to pay extra. That would increase the cost of the device. So none of that stuff is on there. It's just the stuff Atari own. Except for one game, which I'll mention in a moment. So you've got classics on there like Star Strike, like Shark, Utopia, Thin Ice, Thunder Castle. I love that game. That's a brilliant game, Thunder Castle. I love Thin Ice as well. That's a wicked game. Really, really like that. There's loads of sports games on there, which actually a lot of people have criticised them for having loads of sports games on there, saying who wants to play crappy old sports games. But you have to remember that in the early years, the Intellivision was known for its sports games. All its advertising at one point was based around the fact that it had these realistic, or for the time, sports games, whereas the 2600 didn't. And that's why Atari created Real Sports, was because they saw the Intellivision sports titles. They put the ones on the 2600 to shame. But you've got to remember the 2600 had stuff like Home Run, Atari Football. I mean, they were terrible. Golf, that's awful. That early golf game, they're all awful games. Pele Soccer, I mean, that's like blobs moving around. It's crap. It's so bad. And the Intellivision had these proper, soccer with 11 players and a proper golf game, and they had basketball and tennis, which is 2-player, and they had all these, multiplayer sports games that just put the 2600 ones at that time to shame. I mean, Atari did come back. The real sports games actually ended up being better, but it was one thing that the Intellivision was very much known for, was its sports games. So it's inevitable that all those would be on there. But even with all the sports games, I still think there's a good game selection. As I say, there's still a solid group of classics. There's probably about 10 games on there that you consider like proper classics that I think everyone would want to play and keep coming back to. But if you can sideload your games anyway, you've got loads of choice, haven't you? You can put all the Data East games and arcade ports of the Activision games and Imagic games. You can put all those on there, so it's not really an issue. But yeah, I think it looks really cool. Price-wise, 120 quid in UK. So I think it's $150 US. It is available to pre-order now. And I think the release date says it's something like, I think when I looked, it was saying expected delivery in the UK was something like the 20th of December, which is brave because it's literally a few days before Christmas. So I was like, if I pre-order one, what are the chances that I will get it for Christmas? Not sure. I think what I'm probably going to do actually is I'm probably going to wait till after Christmas and order it then. I think that's what I'm going to do. I haven't fully decided, but Christmas is an expensive time. I've already spent loads of money on Christmas presents for my family, my wife and my kids and stuff. So I might wait till after Christmas. I usually get loads of Amazon vouchers for Christmas as well. So that's one reason why I might wait. Because I always ask everyone to get me Amazon vouchers. So they always do. So if I've got a decent amount of Amazon vouchers, I can use that to buy it. So that's probably what I'll do, personally speaking. But yeah, I do think it's a really good console. The timing's a bit strange, but I think the games lineup's great. Oh, and that game I meant to mention, sorry, didn't come back to it. It's got Boulder Dash on it, so it's got a homebrew version of Boulder Dash that they have licensed, which is quite nice that they've licensed Boulder Dash and put that on the device. That was quite a cool little thing I saw. I assume that's because of Atari's relationship with Retro Games Limited, because Retro Games Limited already had a license for Boulder Dash, because they put it on some of their minis, like the 64 Mini. I think it's on the Atari 8-bit Mini as well. I'm trying to remember now. But yes, I think that's why that's why it's ended up on there. But yeah, we've got a great selection of games on there. It's a really good looking device. The USB wireless controllers is a really good idea. I think there's a lot of good features. Obviously HDMI is a big bonus, the fact you can use it with a modern TV. The USB port is great, so you can, it'll open up the possibilities of adding games and stuff like that. Hopefully, as I say, there'll be a way to use other controllers, so I don't have to use the horrible Intellivision controllers. But I would love to know what you all think of the news about the Intellivision Sprint. I'm always interested to hear your views. But that's it, really. There's not a lot else to say. I think I've covered off everything about it, and I'll leave you to watch the trailer and obviously let me know what you think down below. So as always, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you all again for another one very soon. Bye bye.